Hey, BassGeek here, and I'm going to tell you what the best wake bait on the market is, and it's a jerkbait. Hey guys, before we get started, I want to make sure you go check out Waterland sunglasses. Guys, I have fallen in love with these things. I mean, just the quality, look at it. Even the thought in the hinges are great. I've got 4 pairs of these now, but make sure you go check out Waterland. And by the way, these are the Sobros. I love them so much. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. S-O-B-R-O. Sobro. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so go check them out. There is a 15% off code. I think it's literally just BassGeek down there. Make sure you check out those green mirror lenses. Those are by far my favorite. All right, so I want to talk to you about this, and this is something that if you're in my region of the world, you know about. It is a big deal, especially during the fall, especially for smallmouth. So you guys up north, this may be something that you absolutely want to try. And it works well into the year as it gets cold. And guys, this is just what we call the Bomber Long A. This is actually a jerkbait, and I don't mean to be mean. Some people may like it. I'm sure it is a great jerkbait. Maybe, in my opinion. But it's a much better wake bait than it is a jerkbait. It's a much better wake bait, I think, than it ever thought about or could have ever been designed to be a jerkbait. So this is something that you guys should really try in the fall. Now, I will tell you, I'm not big on their hooks. I do change those out, okay? I do like a long round bend when it comes to topwater too, by the way. I want something that's going to stick out there. And don't upsize the hooks, because this bait is a jerk bait. It is designed to dive, but you do not want it diving. You might even be better off to go with lighter wire hooks on these, as a matter of fact. Now, these two right here have the stock on them right now. I haven't changed them out, but I want to talk to you about this. So this is the Bomber Long A. This is kind of my go-to bait, and it's almost everybody's go-to color, and that is the bone when it comes up. But I'm going to tell you, when I'm throwing this bait for smallmouth, this is one of my favorite colors right here, and you can see we've got some teeth marks on it. I don't know the exact color. I'll put it down here somewhere, but it's got that purple, bluish purple back, and the big key, the chartreuse belly. They destroy this color right here. The big ones just destroy this color. Now, I do have several more at home. Probably if I had to add a third one, just for you to have a third one, I'd probably put something in there that's got a little bit of chrome to it. Guys, it works great on, you know, I'm on Top Secret Lake P today, and it works great up here when they're chasing shad, in the fall when they're busting, in the fall when we know they're going to the banks and they're chasing. This is, in my opinion, one of the best wake baits that you will ever fish. It's not something that you're going to cover water with really fast. It is a methodical retrieve, again, because you're trying to keep it up. It's wanting to dive on you. It is, after all, a jerkbait. And we'll talk about retrieves in just a second. But let's talk about rod, reel, and line setup. Guys, I like a soft rod on it, okay? So it's going to have a little bit of tip. This rod actually maybe well, it's not maybe, it is a little stiff for what I like to do. But a good old standard medium fast action just got a little bit softer tip to help you cast these things, because these things, guys, are super light. And when you're out there and you're casting them around for those busting, those chasing fish, you want to be able to cast it a long way. Now, when I know I'm casting it a long way, it's kind of a give and take on line. So when I start talking about line, most of the time I really like a floating line. Again, I want a line that's going to compensate the want of this bait to dive. So generally, I'm looking at a 14 and 15 pound test mono. I want a big line to keep it up, to keep that back throwing that wake. But if you're casting it a long way, if you're out there chasing those busting fish, you're going to have to downsize. Generally, I'm going to downsize to 10 or 12 pound mono. And I almost always have 14 pound test braid backing. So I do run a leader on this. It'll be 14 to 15 pound test braid, and then I'll have about, I'll just say a 10-foot leader, because I do fish a lot of clear lakes at 10 to 15-foot leader. You can get away with a little bit shorter than that, but if you've got a leader, you can go ahead and move up to that 14, 15 pound test, because that braid is going to be actually smaller than that monofilament diameter, and you're going to get a lot better cast out of it. Now, speaking of casting, reel wise, generally this is a bait that I like a slow reel, because you can easily over reel it. This is my Lew's. This is an older speed spool. It is a 5.2 to 1. So this is one that I like a slower reel. And like I said, the retrieve, I'll just have to show you why. All right, so speaking of the retrieve, let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, so what I've done is I went ahead and put the bone on so you can see it a little better in the water. There is a technique. Now, generally this is not the area that I'm going to throw this in. The types of places that I'm going to throw this in is going to be long, rounded points with pockets, short pockets. The types of areas where fish are going to be busting. That's a big key. We want shad there. We want fish busting. And we want places that bass are going to push shad up and feed on them. So, like I said, the big thing with this is you always want to be able to make, especially when they're busting, you want to make a long cast. Let that bait hit the water and it'll dive down, but you want it, you should be able to see it now. You want it to be able to pop right up. We can see it. We're going to hold our rod tip high. That's another key thing. And we're just going to get that bait, there it goes, to where it's literally walking back and forth. Now, we don't want it to dive. And I'm going to say this, you don't not ever want it to dive, but 90% of the time, you're going to want this to be a nice, slow retrieve, a wide wobble, just to where it's moving about that speed right there, and it is not diving on you. But look at that wake that bait throws. Very incredible little bait for a jerkbait. Pretty incredible wake bait for a jerkbait, wouldn't you say? But like I said, get it out there, stop it, try to keep your line up off the water, and then just get it nice and slow. Very methodical. Nice little wake as it comes back. Now, as it starts to get close to you, you're going to want to start to drop that rod tip, okay? Generally, a straight retrieve works best. They like it moving. But I will tell you, you can throw it out there and change this retrieve up. Again, long cast, let it pop up, and then start reeling. Now, The thing about it is I can give it a couple of little reels, let it go under the water, pop back up, get it back on top of the water, get it walking, give it a couple of quick reels underneath the water, darting away, diving under the water, we get it back up, we get it walking. You can really change up the retrieve. The other thing, of course, you can just stop it. You can stop it, but remember, you want to keep that line up out of the water as much as you can. You know, kind of like a whopper plopper. A whopper plopper, you want to keep that line up out of the water as much as you possibly can. So we're going to throw it out. We're going to keep it up. We're going to let it pop up. And you'll notice I'll keep my rod tip quite a bit higher when it's farther out. And this is where, like I said earlier, that really you have to, if you're making long casts toward the bank, you're not fishing for those busting bass, that's when you want to up your line size, because that line will float up and will help keep it up and keep it from diving when you make a long cast. But that's pretty much all there is to it. This is one of those little things that's very specific, very popular in my region. And like I said, I mean, it's a great bait, man. The long A. You can buy some other baits. I know I haven't tried the spro one yet. They come out with a new one. I've tried the rapalas, and there's a couple of more, but they just don't have the slow, real methodical side-to-side action that the long A has. And I just think that has something really to do with this bait. So this fall, guys, make sure you go out. These things aren't expensive. Try the long A. I'm telling you, it is a tremendous, an incredible wake bait, especially for the smallmouth. Get out there, get you a couple, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. The largemouth love them too, and the spots will kill them. Long A, buy a bomber, get out there and give it a try as a wake bait. All right, as always, questions and comments in the comment section below. You guys know I love to talk about fishing with you, so make sure you leave me some questions about this odd usage for this bait. I know a lot of you probably have never heard of it, but it's absolutely incredible. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you ring that bell so you get the notifications when videos like this come out. I always try to get you guys some top secret knowledge. And as always, you guys rock.